Well, we're going to get the action started on the first map. It's going to be Nexus, King of the Hill. And hopefully the players are pretty much ready to go. Have a quick look here. They are lobbied up.
So we will be kicking the first game off with Dignitas Fusion's point of view. Again, Fusion got a lot of fans, a lot of support. In
some chants going at the last event.
I heard there was a couple of people who might have said something along the lines of Scott. I'm not too sure. That happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he's someone who really has kind of stepped out of his shell as of late. I mean, he's always been a confident person, but now he's got...
Quiet but confident.
He's got a big set of cojones now because he can back it up.
Now, before we get the game started, I wasn't planning to commentate all weekend. And then the way things have kind of worked out, I've got a bit of a headache, I'll be honest.
You've got a headache?
Land ache.
I left hospital 45 minutes ago, Mike.
Okay, so if you're wondering about the lack of enthusiasm at this point, we promised to eject some at some point, but at this point, I think it's best if you just kind of keep it calm because there's a lot more Halo to play today.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend for some of us more than others.
Exactly.
And my voice is dying. I have lockets and soothers at the ready, ready to go to keep myself going through this. But I'm sure with the 8 players we are about to watch, they will
bring the enthusiasm into us.
Yeah, they will.
We're about to get the doctor's prescription, LLL versus Dignitas.
Shinoa may have a PhD in oh my god. Just waiting for all the players to join the game and get in the right colour. Highest seeded team is Lowland Lions. They are our first seeded team. They will be going red, and Team Dignitas are our second seeded team, so they will be going blue. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about that Nexus King, Mike?
Not at this point.
Excellent. I will talk about Nexus King, and you may listen. Nexus King is a map that Nexus was removed recently, and then only very recently.
Version 4.
Version 4, it was removed, and then version 6, MLG have decided to bring it back, but only in its King format. And actually, it's a very kind of frantic map. You have 2 power weapons on that. You have the sniper rifle and the grenade launcher. You have an evade in the middle. I saw some cracking games being played in it yesterday. I even saw you've got a river in the middle, and I managed to see some people just sod it off and just go diving, which is always quite funny. Watching someone's point of view and 2 players just jump at him and just jump into the river. So, they're going for a splash. But yeah, it's a good game to kick off a Grekken series.
Now, one thing we haven't talked about either, I talked a bit to Riots about it, which was the lowering of the bloom. Obviously, Halo Reach, new settings came out. You can turn bloom off, but what are we pointing out?
The game's about to start, Mike.
That is, maybe you should be sitting at my spot.
No. I'm just better than you, but don't worry.
So yes, on board with Fusion here from Dignitas as we get Nexus. King of the Hill starting to be dropped there. Shinado, though, with 2 kills to help out Dignitas. But with the man down. Now, with King of the Hill, you're trying to obviously get a good advantage by dropping an entire team, but should you make a push, with 2 men down if you have good positioning?
Definitely. I mean, it's all about, in games like this, it's all about finding balance. Obviously, you have to try and attempt to get in the hill, but you also have to, you can't do that if you have 4 members of the other team looking at you. So it's about finding that balance, about making the correct decisions. Okay, do I push the hill here? Or do I push the other team back? Do I wait for my teammates? It's all situational, and you'll find that better players are able to sort of do that by instinct, to make a decision as to whether it's safer to go to the hill or not. And we should also mention that something I've realised I've forgotten to do is that both these teams do have coaches, something I was a little bit familiar with. We have the coach for Team Dignitas is Inspired to Kill, a player formerly from Fnatic, a player who was a great player on Halo 3, now returns to Halo Reach in a coaching role. And on the Lowland Lions side, we have 2 for real. Shinato's brother, who also has been playing some Reach. He came 3rd at our last event with at Blackpool with the Lowland Lions, and has now moved into a coaching position. And both those players bring different things to the coaching. Inspired to Kill likes to keep his players calm, he likes to keep them motivated, but also really focused. Whereas 2 for real makes a lot of noise. He is a foghorn of a man. and you will hear some screaming from the Lowland Lions side, and that I guarantee will be to for real as we see Fusion rip the neck off of one of the LLL players and pick up a nice double kill. But of course, Buck 20 responds by just shooting him in the face with a sniper rifle.
So the hill's going to drop down now off of the 12 or 13 minute mark there. And we said, when the hill's up high there, obviously with Nexus and the way the spawns work, both teams have nice coverage, nice protected spawns. So it's pretty hard to get a trap going, especially in King of the Hill, I think, which is why the map was dropped originally by MLG and then only brought back for King of the Hill. Because that means that the games are no longer just drawn out, because people used to just kind of stay in their spawns, especially on Slayer, Slayer games and so on. Yep. Sniper rifle now going into the hands of Fusion there. Fusion's I don't know how loud I can be.
Fusion's put himself in a very good position staying in this base because he can cover the whole of the map from that point of view. And if his teammate dies in the hill, it's not a problem because Fusion is staying there. He'll give his team spawns close to the hill and he is blocking the spawns of the other team. And hopefully he can put this weapon to use. Unfortunately not, but see again, he's just backing off, staying alive. And as long as him and Max will see that's right, so keep control of this base, they could have had an opportunity to actually push back on that hill, but as I say that, he goes down and LLL seem to be managing to crawl back. As you see, Mike, this game is only just over 3 minutes long, and both these teams have racked up some serious hill time. It's first 250 to win, and we already have 72 to 54 on the clock.
It was interesting there with that push just on the spawn there by LLL on Dignitas, or Dignitas on LLL's hill there, or spawn, just because it allowed the Dignitas players to actually respawn in the distance and make a push of their own on the hill rather than, I don't know if it was kind of the best strategy there. I'm going to stop talking nonsense. I just confuse myself while talking.
Someone spawned somewhere, did something that happened to someone else.
Yes.
Nice. But I think that
basically they pushed the spawn point there.
Yeah.
It was probably accidentally.
I think that was a smart thing to do though, really, because you did not want to leave a wild Fusion and a wild Riot just hanging around in the back of the hill, because those two just on their own are a big enough threat.
Especially with the sniper rifle.
And Fusion had a sniper rifle in his midst, and so now Fusion now is still on board with him as Dignitas extend their lead by 30 seconds on this now top hill again, and we move on to apparently the Terminator, as I think we are on board with. I think we're on board with Buck 57 from LLL, as he's again setting up in one of the side bases, trying to lock down spawns for his team, block them from another team, and he's pushing now into this main lobby as he spots Fusion, puts some shots into him, and does a smart decision to try and stay alive. Halo is all about the longer you can stay on the map, the better really you are. And now we were stepping on board with Shinato. As I
Sorry
said,
about that with the color there.
That's fine.
Some of the numbers have dots, and it means that they're no good, but it turns out that that's no longer applicable.
Well, it's always good to jump on board with Shinato's point of view. A man is very individually skilled. You see there, he has a sniper rifle in his hand. He only had one bullet to it, and he just absolutely planted it in the face of one of the Dignitas players there. And being on the Shinato point of view is never a bad decision.
Shinato and crew, though, down 110 to 71, but they do have control of the hill, trying to bring it back right now. Nice kill there on Riots by Shinato there from range. It was in the hill, so that's going to help his teammates make another push for it and gain some more time.
And again, you see Shinato is just purely trying to stay alive as long as possible. Dignitas really can't get a lot of hill time whilst he's in this base and just raining fire on them. You see, he's also able just to, by being alive, running around the base, he's able to spot players as they try and move across places like top middle. And now he's on a killing spree, rewarding himself for staying alive that long. Does need to pick up some ammo, which he does, and he's now going to push into this room. Trojan getting shots put on him, and now he's going to look to try and save Buck 20 and repay the favour.
We see the hill drop down now. Do you think that there's certain hills that have advantages for each team? Obviously, with the way that hill there drops down, it's kind of, you got the middle corridor by the river there.
I think
which if you're timing the hill right, they've both got coaches. Then the hill was up top there. We saw Shinato and LLL make a push for that hill, and then kind of just immediately the hill's going to change. Let's actually make a move towards the next spot.
was a very smart decision to hold that base. They knew the hill was going to move towards them, and actually Dignitas would have to run across the map to try and get there, and they managed to scrap up so much time that they're actually only about 20 seconds down now, given they were about 60 seconds down earlier. And really what they need to do now is just trying to find a way to break this Dignitas contain, and as they say, that Trojan does go down. However, Buck 57 will be the last player alive. He gets the good grenade there, does drop a shield on on Fusion, sorry, but is this going to be enough for LLL? They still need to crack time, because Dignitas boys are not leaving that hill. They are fighting tooth and nail for every second they get, and Trojan is now being an absolute pain in the backside of LLL, as he is just raining fire on them from behind. He's taken out, but again, because of that distraction created by Trojan, Dignitas are having all kinds of hill, and we're now on board with Ramirez, who was in that hill and is taking out. Ramirez, Mike, has 101 seconds of his team's 167.
It's interesting to see kind of by the King of the Hill actually is a good game to see exactly what kind of roles are playing there. You see Riots there obviously taking a more of a support role there, trying to rack up kills for his team. Now let Ramirez take the hill for them.
Yeah, and now we have a grenade launcher in the hands of Rami. Aspires to Kill doing a great job timing the grenade launcher for him, then reminding him the hill moves, and Rami puts himself in a good position just to rack up another few seconds, those precious seconds. And Dignitas seem to be in a little bit of a commanding lead now, as Lowland Lions don't seem to be able to ever get a decent foothold on any of these hills. They managed to pick up a lot of time on one, but aside from that, it's scrappy hill time. It's not big chunks, and that's exactly what LNL will need to be able to, successfully pull this game back. They do have a sniper in the hands of Shinato, but he doesn't seem to be hitting that many shots, and actually, it's 1 minute to win, really. 60 seconds left to win for Dignitas. They've got 6 minutes to play with, so really, I can't see. LLL will have to pull something magical out of their box of tricks to be able to bring this back. Now going back on board with a player from LLL, we are on board with Shinato again.
He's got the sniper rifle, so I'm going to see how he can use that.
Yeah, but being a bit of a douchebag,
he's run out of ammo.
Yeah. What a swine. However, again, he's noticed Shinato is still in this role on top of a base, trying to lock down that base, that side base. He's not pushing out aggressively. Maybe that might be one of the reasons why he's struggling. A beautiful 5-shot there on Fusion. But that might be the reason why LLL just aren't racking time. You see Trojan and Ramirez doing a two-handed dance in the hill, and whilst Shinato's doing a great job of locking down this side base, he's not really getting stuck in the action.
The thing with Nexus too, it's a big map. Well, it's a narrow map with quite a long range. You're seeing him just try to get kind of distance shots across map and let his teammates kind of pick up the kills. It'd be interesting to see exactly how they have this set up, because they're really not making any sort of serious push for the hill.
Good shots on Trojan there, but Ramirez comes back to repay the favor. Ramirez is giving the body some beatdowns. He's already dead, Rami, but you go for it, son. And I think we have a new sniper in the hands of Riot, puts it to use, absolutely ripping Pino's face off, peeling his wig. As really, there is only 20 seconds left for Dignitas to win. I don't think LLL are going to come back. Again, never say never, but that might be a word I might use more often than some of these LLL boys.
I'm going to go on board with Riot. Sorry about the color, but sniper rifle, last bullet, doesn't manage.
It does take down the shield of Buck 57, which is always useful. It's going to now force Buck 57 to push backwards or die. And we're on board with, I think, Fusion, who has a great flank on Shinato. He has Buck 57 weak in that hill as well. He will take ready for his own shield to come back, and then he will help his teammates out. There's great shots on Pino to take out another kill on Pino. Fusion is on a tear this game. Every time I switch his point of view, the man is just mopping up kills. He's inserted a broom handle into the Lowland Lions and is wiping the floor with them. And I believe that is going to be game. It is, as Team Dignitas take game one in convincing style. 102-second lead, and it's 250 to Dignitas's, to Lowland Lions 148.
And we'll have a quick look at the stats here. Thank you very much to Fusion there for keeping that up. 15 kills, not leading the pack for Dignitas. It's going to be Fusion, as you were just saying at the end of the game there. We watched quite a lot of his POV there. 24 kills for him, 14 deaths. So plus 10 just shows exactly why Dignitas had so much control there. positive negative ratios like that. We didn't really get to look at LLL stats. I don't think I'll be able to bring them up. But what can you do? We'll live with it.
I'm sure we'll manage.